Good day and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I'm your host, the voice of reason. In this episode, we're going to continue the ongoing coverage of the civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia. The fighting continues. There's a major battlefield strategic update today. Very two important events, or really three really important events. So, first and foremost, what I would like to discuss is the what would be considered the call for total war by the Amhara region. The Amhara regional government is now requesting, almost demanding, that basically the entire civil population be mobilized for war. They are calling for the basically the conscription of all university students into the regional military of the Amhara region, and I discussed before. As Ethiopia continues to fragment and break up, we would see quite possibly an independent Amhara army start to take shape, and I think we are starting to see that as of now. And obviously, there are competing interests within the federal government of Ethiopia, who is also making fairly stringent demands on its society to join the military. Now, is this wrong? Is this unethical? No, it's not, quite frankly. It is a nationwide, high intensity war, and this is normal when we see these kinds of wars take place. If we look back in other wars throughout history, what is occurring and what is being demanded by the Amhara region is very normal, and it has happened in other conflicts, ranging from the American Revolutionary War, in which we saw the Minutemen, very little training, join militia groups and fight the British. Obviously, the American Civil War, we saw large scale conscription taking place. So yes, it is very normal when we enter these kinds of phases in human history in terms of conflict. But the question is why is the Amhara regional government making these demands on its society? Well, it is being militarily defeated. The Ethiopian government and the Amhara regional government, whom are allies, are being beaten on the battlefield. And when you are being beaten on the battlefield and your territory has been penetrated over 100 kilometers on multiple fronts, with major cities and towns taken, then this is cause and effect. This is why we are seeing this happen. But more specifically, there's been two major battlefield events that are taking place right now. And first, I'll start on the southeastern front near the town of Dese. And again, there are approximately three columns of Tigrayan Defense Forces that are working its way very close to the city of Dese and its sister city of Kombolcha to the southeast. And we are seeing forces of the Tigrayan Defense Forces press towards both Kombolcha. We're also seeing the Tigrayan Defense Forces shooting down what would be defined as the Kombolcha-Dese Gap, heading towards the city or town of Solula. And then obviously there is another operational group that is heading and cutting off the western approaches to the city of Dese. And there is heavy fighting. There's heavy artillery being deployed against the town of Dese and against the Amhara regional militia units and the Ethiopian National Army, which is attempting to defend Dese and Kombolcha. But we continue to hear about some really devastating battlefield losses with some of the more premier elite units of the Ethiopian army. And these are regime security forces as well that would maintain the Prosperity Party, that would maintain Abiy Ahmed's grip on power. And that is the Republican Guard, and that is the commando brigades that exist within the Ethiopian army. And we have verified reports that these units have been defeated in an open conflict just north of Dese. They have been captured, officers have been captured, and many soldiers have been captured, killed, wounded, and equipment taken control of by the Tigrayan Defense Forces as it presses towards Dese and Kombolcha. Will the Tigrayan Defense Forces seize control of Dese and Kombolcha? It's to be seen. It looks like it's heading that way, but we'll have to see what kind of resistance continues in those cities, and if we start to see urban combat start to take place in those areas. But we're monitoring this situation very closely, and it's some of the most intense fighting as of yet inside of the delusion, the destruction of the former state of Ethiopia. In other areas, a fairly significant development. We had talked about that Debark, for all practical purposes, had been besieged, with the Tigrayan Defense Forces working its way to take key terrain features near the city. Obviously, the city is surrounded to the west and north, and to some extent the east, by a fairly significant mountain range. The Tigrayan Defense Forces continue to take these terrain features and work their way closer to enveloping the city of Debark. But it would appear that the Tigrayan Defense Forces, once securing its areas around the city of Debark, it has now moved and bypassed the city of Debark and has made an attack on the city of Dabat. And as you can see that here on my map, it is significantly south of Debark. And if we look at distance from Dabat to the very important city of Gondar, I believe it is the largest city in the Amhara region, and we're just 50 kilometers from Dabat to Gondar. Now, that means within about 20 more kilometers, we're probably looking at the ability of the Tigrayan Defense Forces, if they move about 20 kilometers further south, possibly seize terrain features north of the city of Gondar, that they could then start to shell the city of Gondar, quite possibly. And I talked about the use of drones and other means of warfare that could possibly lead to more aggressive actions by the Tigrayan Defense Forces. Could this be the setup for that sort of aggressive action? Not sure as of yet, but with the bypassing of Debark, and we could probably see at some point supplies be cut off to Debark, and then that city capitulate, as we saw other cities inside of the Amhara region, such as Weldia. But again, the Tigrayan Defense Forces, very close now, on the outskirts of Dabat, may have tried to enter Dabat, and could, within 20 kilometers south of Dabat, be ready to shell the city of Gondar. But we will continue to monitor the situation and report, as these are very, very significant events that are occurring. Thanks, everybody.